Let's go to Victoria, where local councils are slugging Victorians with a swathe of sneaky new taxes. Joining me for the latest, Vice President of Council Watch, Dean Hurlston. Dean, welcome as always. These bin taxes in some council areas, $179 a year. They're raising rubbish rates between 10 and 20%. Almost 60% of councils have hiked their waste charges by more than 5%. In 1 in 4, well, they've increased costs by more than 10%. Now, we already pay rates, it's supposed to do. Roads, rubbish. Goodness me, why on earth are we paying extra for rubbish removal?
Thanks, Peter. What councils have decided to do is find a new way to get around the rate cap and gouge Victorians. By all councils taking the actual bin tax out of your rates, it is no longer subject to the 3.5% cap that rates are. And so we've seen councils, as your slide shows there, increase their actual bin tax by up to 20%. It is purely profiteering, gouging, and councils cost shifting every dollar they can out of their budget and onto us as ratepayers.
But Dean, as I said, you know, core business for a local council is collecting your bin. What do they do with the rest of their money? But surely they can't get away with this.
Well, what they're actually doing, Peter, is it's not just the cost of collecting your rubbish, it's the cost for rubbish trucks, street sweeping, new bins, new infrastructure, anything related to waste across the municipality. So even bins in shopping precincts are actually included in this levy. So council can go on a spending spree. No one audits that actual bin tax. And in fact, the city of Wodonga was caught gouging by $18 million above the real cost over 10 years. We want the government to put a cap back on this levy, or we want independent audits. And we'd really encourage Victorians to say enough is enough. We're in a cost of living crisis. Councils are just gouging and it's got to stop.
Yeah, look, I don't even like the term levy. It's used at a Commonwealth level. Levy implies that somehow they put it on for a short period of time and they'll take it off. Well, the Medicare levies never come off. The NDIS levies, levies are there and they're there to stay. It is a tax by stealth. What's been the response of the Andrews government?
The Andrews government has actually encouraged this because they don't want to tip any money into the waste cost increase. In fact, the Andrews government is responsible for a lot of the costs of tip fees going up. And instead of the government putting its hand in its pocket, it's basically said to councils, well, you can separate out all the waste charges. And as long as you actually show residents what they've got to pay as a separate line item, you can go for it. So this is just unrestrained spending and gouging by councils. And Dan Andrews has ticked the box and said, you can do it.
Well, Dean, what about the salaries they pay themselves? I think this is extraordinary. And their bureaucrats. A lot of the CEOs of these local councils, they're paid more than the Prime Minister. They're also out there on issues like refugees, climate change and The Voice, none of which have anything to do with the issues of local councils.
Yeah, absolutely, Peter. When we see some CEOs earning well over $500,000, the most in Victoria was up to $700,000. They have basically no performance metrics. They hoodwink most councils into thinking they're doing a good job, despite, if you look at every single measure of satisfaction in councils, over the last 10 years, they've literally sunk to record lows. We have councils barely running at over 50% satisfaction, and rubbish is one of those things that's tanking. People are not listening. These CEOs are getting paid enormous wages, and now they're just gouging us with a new tax that will stay, as you say, by stealth forever. Someone needs to give these councils a wake-up call. We ask everyone, go to our website, register, it's free. Let's take back these councils and stop the absolute madness that's going on.
There you go. Go to that website, Council Watch. Dean Hurlston, thank you for drawing our attention to this yet again.